Okay, the next chart we're going to do is this bar chart. So here we are trying to figure out what is the average median value between the two possible values for Chas, whether the property is adjacent to the river or not. Okay, so if they both for 0 and 1, if the average is the same, then the variable Chas does not have any predictive power, so we can drop it. We don't have to use it in our analysis. So that's the general idea, right? So okay. Now to do that, we need to first compute the mean of med v for Chas equal to 0, and then mean of med v for Chas equal to 1, and then after having done that, then we need to plot that. So we have to first prepare. Okay, step 1, okay, is what we should do here is first let's set up the command, the code, and then we will save it. Okay, so the code for finding the mean for med v for the two values of Chas is to first group the data set. Okay, so here we have housing DF. Okay, now we need to specify what variable we need to group by. You can have several variables, and usually you would want to do this only for factor variables or categorical variables. You don't want to group by a numerical variable, for instance. So here we want to group by Chas. Okay, now after having done that, then you want to feed this sorted data set sorted by Chas. So all the zeros are together at the top, all the ones for Chas are at the bottom. Okay, now you want to pass this along to the next step where we can do the averaging, and for that we can use what is called piping operator. So piping operator comes from dplyr package, which is part of tidyverse. That's the reason why we ran the library tidyverse. So this is available to us. What this does is it'll take, it allows you to pass the results of one step to the next stage, the next stage, and the next stage, and it is very, very convenient in preparing code. So once it is grouped by, then we do summarize. Okay. Now we don't have to specify the data file here, data source here. If you use summarize by itself, you have to then provide the data source, but you don't have to provide data source because of this piping operator. So this data source is fed into this. So summarize already knows the data source. And what do we want to summarize? So we want to find the mean of med v. Okay. Now when you run that, then you get the mean for Chas equal to 0. What is the mean for Chas equal to 1? What is the mean? Okay. But we really want to plot this, and therefore we have to capture this result into a variable. So we'll call it data for plot, okay, like that. Okay, so now the result of this code will get saved here. Okay, so now we have data for plot. We can take a look at that. Then you have Chas, and then we have mean MEDV as the column name. So it's using that as the column name. So you want to change the column names. So we give names, data for plot. We need to give this as a list. So first one is just Chaz. The second one is avg underscore medv, for example. Okay, so check it out. So it's changed. Alright, once we have done that, then we can do the plotting. So gg plot data equal to data for plot, and then mapping equal to AES x equal to Chaz, right? Y equal to AVG, case, uppercase, lowercase matter, so you have to do it exactly like how it's here. Okay, so we have now specified x and y. Next we have to specify what kind of plot we want. We want geom bar. Okay, so now we have, since we have given x and y value, we have to say how to use the y value. So y value is the height. So we need to specify stat equal to identity. So that's what will plot the bars. Okay, so here are the bars. So we have 22, about 22, and then this is about 28 for 0 and 1. Okay, now we want to add some formatting. So we can say gg title is for the title. So that would be, we can say average median value by Chaz. Okay, and then we can specify xlab as say Charles River. We can say adjacent to Charles River. Okay, so that's xlab, and then ylab, we can say median average medv in dollars, for example. Okay, so that's gonna put the titles and the x and y labels. And suppose we want to put labels to the bars. Okay, what is the height of the bar? Okay, so for that we have to overlay, right? Want to overlay on top of this another plotting layer, which is called geom text. Okay, so geom text is another plotting layer, so it will have its own aesthetics, AES. Okay, and the option is label. Okay, and what do you want to use as label? So this value avg underscore medv. Okay, so let's see what happens here. Okay, so now it's plotting the medv. Okay, it's kind of decimal places are all over the place, and it's kind of not, it needs to be quite up there, right? So we need to do some adjusting, and vertical adjusting is what we need. So geom text, there is a second parenthesis there that's not needed. So let's get that out. Okay, so we want v just positive values will bring the number down towards the x-axis. Negative values will take it out. So let's say we want to, this is a matter of trial and error. So you want to try, say, minus 0.2. Okay, so that takes it out right above. Okay, now we want to change the number of decimal places there. It's not really nice. So what we want to do here is label equal to, so here we have the average med v, right? So we can say round med v. Okay, say 2 decimal places, right? Okay, now it's not completing the task, leaves with a plus, and then you see a mark here, so that means there is some problem. So it's most likely that I have not, I don't have enough right parenthesis, and that's what you see here with the red mark. So that one is for AES, and I need one more for geom text. Okay, so now we have rounded it to 2 decimal places. But actually, it's better not to use round and use format. Suppose we want to put a dollar sign in front of it. So then round won't work. So let me get rid of the round. All right. So we say format, right? Format. Okay, so what do you want to do? Format average med v, and how many digits we want. Okay, let's say 4. So there will be 4 numbers. So here, like we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So this will be 4 numbers. Okay, so now if you run, okay, so that gives us 4 numbers. The reason why format is better is, suppose we want to have 4 decimal places. Okay, so now you see, because we want to have 4 decimal places, the digit 6 will make sure that the zeros are appended, padded at the back. So you'll have both same formatted numbers. If you do round, this will show as 22.0938. Round with 4 decimal places, this will just show 28.44. The 00 will not get padded in. Okay, so that's why format is better. Now it still doesn't have a dollar sign, so let me put this digits back to 4. So we don't want really 2 decimal places is enough. So what we need is paste. Okay, what paste will do is, okay, let's so paste will put things together, right? So we say we want dollar sign first. Dollar sign should be like that, and then comma. So this is going to, the paste is going to insert the dollar sign in front. Okay, so there you go. Okay, so suppose we don't want, see, there is a gap between the dollar sign and the number, right? And if you don't want that, Instead of using paste, you need to use paste 0. Paste 0 will be 0 gap between, when you put things together, there should be 0 gap.